Hi everyone, and welcome back again to IELTS speaking tips and techniques. So I got many questions now and about speaking techniques and common questions. Actually, somebody was asking me also privately, what are the common questions here in speaking part 1. Now basically we covered some of the things, but the common thing is in every exam we're going to go through first is the art, and here the question is your opinion in art. Are you good at art, or did you learn at school when you were a child, or some details? Yeah, what kind of art do you like? And this is a direct question, and the direct question is easy to answer. There are no traps. The second one is birthdays, and basically we're talking about birthdays here. And do you enjoy your birthday? Do you usually celebrate your birthday with your family, with friends, with who? Do you like gifts? What kind of your favorite gifts? And all that such details is basically go through birthday and gifts. So it's direct question. Now third one is childhood. Basically, why we are just skim art and birthdays, because it's generally question and there are no traps in the question basically. Now, childhood come with the traps. So here is the thing. Okay. Rafet, nice meeting you, Rafet. Well, this is IELTS speaking tips and strategies, my dear friend. So I don't know if you're searching for B2 level, I'm not sure. So now childhood, there are some traps in the childhood question. For example, did you enjoy your childhood? Okay. All the time in this question, you will talk about your childhood time, your hobbies, playing with kids and everything. Look, when you answer this question, basically, is about childhood only, not your hobbies. Remember, the reason why most of the applicants, they answer what they did in childhood, playing games and all, because this is what they got in the childhood. Right, but why it was so enjoyable for you, for example, with parents and friends, with cousins and like that. Don't bring your hobbies in childhood, because hobbies has got different questions. Okay, so don't mix up this question. It's happened all the time in IELTS exam. It's so simple question, but the answers all the time they brought their old hobbies before inside the question. It's not right. So your childhood, stay with childhood, not with hobbies or what you like in childhood. Don't do that. Okay? Hi, Naveen. Hello, Anwar. How are you? Good? So, did you have a lot of friends when you were a child? Now, this is one of the second trap. Okay? By the way, we skipped the question, what is your first memory of your childhood, is a direct question. And, one of the exams, like maybe a year ago, I was surprised with one answer. She remembered exactly when she was 3 years old. Like 3 years old, literally 3 years old, that the memory, like, what, really? And it's when I asked the question, like, what is your first memory in your childhood? She said, and she was one of the applicants, and it's a real exam. And she said, like, well, when I was 3 years old. I don't know, what, 3 years old? Do you remember that? And was surprised, like, she got a super memory, really. So that's what memory of the childhood. Now, do you have a lot of friends when you were a child? Now, this is a general question, general scope questions, but it's actually tactical scope questions. Remember this. Here's the describing here. Do you have a lot of friends? Of course, the answer is yes. It's of course the answer is yes. You know, no child was alone in the childhood. It's not like there is some gang of children around him, for sure. Okay, but here you should answer by this way. You should say, of course, but my favorite. You have to specify. That's why we call it. This is a general scope question, but it's a target scope question. You want to see your limits, your ability to answer. So of course, yes, but my favorite are only 3. My childhood friends. So you have to go for target scope. Remember this tip here, okay? Well, Hilden done it. When is the pre-intermediate? I'm not sure. Like when is? Depend on Justenglish schedule. So this is one of the, you know, traps in the question. You have to be careful with the answer. Again, we will find questions about clothes, and it's so general questions you can go direct answer. You don't have to think about it. You're going to go question for computers. Okay? Do you often use a computer? Do you often usually get online? A laptop? Or do you use your, what do you use your computer for? Games or whatever. Like it's a direct questions with a direct answer. It's so simple. Now, daily routine is actually also a direct question. But here you need to use bridges all the time. You need to add more details. But long story short, you need to add more details. Now, when you add more details in daily routine life, this give you more, you know, argument base to your answer. And we're going to go also for dictionaries, if you use dictionary, but this is very rarely. No one uses it right, actually, recently. It's very, last time it had been used for like 3 years ago. So I'm not sure it's going to be used again because it's routine questions. It's so simple. Okay, now evening is one of the cards. You're going to face it in topic 1. And actually, what do you do in the evening with the family or friends or something? Now, let me ask you some of the, you know, trap question. Please write this question down. Look here, the question number 2, this one. Do you do the same thing every evening? Okay. So, nice teacher, I can miss my English class in school if HIM will live on internet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, look here, do you do the same thing every evening? Now, this is the thing that I want you to look at it. If I were to phrase the question, do you use the same things every evening? Look what I said. Do you use the same things every evening? Or do you do the same thing every evening? What's the difference between 2 questions here? Who will answer me? Look, I said here, do you do the same thing every evening? Okay. Do you use the same thing every evening? So, look here. What's the difference between 2 questions here? Who will answer me here? Who can answer my question? Come on. Naveen, anyone? Rafat, anyone? What's the difference between 2 questions here? Okay. The question was, look here, the second one. The second one, do you do the same thing every evening? Or Do you use the same things every evening? What is the difference between question? Now, since some of you answers here, only minutes was asking the question. Now, first thing, do you do the same thing every evening is a routine question. So we are back to the routine one. Yeah. But when you ask the question here, do you use the same thing every evening? You should answer in what kind exactly. Now, look to the answer. Yes, Melis, thank you. Now, you should answer like this. In what kind exactly? You need to be more specific because this is a trap. Some of the, applicants, because of the shrinking stress or what's happening, and because of this situation that you face it sometimes, in the speaking, they just lost it. Using what? What do you mean? Maybe I used something, maybe he was mentioning something, and they just like freeze. Oh my God, I don't know what's happening. Now, this is the thing. If you don't know the answer of the question exactly, you should answer like this. In what kind exactly? In what kind exactly? Now, this will give you an option, a window for the examiner to give you another question. Now here we start, make it long-term questions or part one question to a discussion. You'll get the high score with it. So this is one of the tips and tricks when you answer the question. I didn't understand what you said, teacher. Rafat, is it because of my voice is low? My voice is okay, or I speak fast? I mean, because it's my language. What? Is it because voice? Should I increase the voice or the language or what? Okay. I will try to, slow down my words a bit. I'll try to slow down my words. Because since all of you are IELTS attenders, it means you are good and understand language very well. So we have family and friends. We have family and friends. This is a general topic, direct questions. We got talking about flowers. We got talk about card about food, okay? And we got like about going out or hanging out, about happiness, about hobbies. And remember, we talk about hobbies, about childhood. Don't mix up the questions here. And we got about the internet, okay? So we got like questions about internet, what we can use it and everything. And we have questions about leisure time. Now, basically, this is the common questions on the IELTS speaking topic, basic, topic 1. Okay? Now, Rafat, what do you have any question you did not understand here? If you can ask me. Anyone? Is it clear? The topic 1, details, topics, is it covered? Everyone understand? Yes or no? Come on, give an answer here. I will see the chat here. If it's okay, say yes. Hello, Ali. How are you? Good. Then let's go for card 2. And we got like, this is what you go for preparation stuff. When we go for describe details. And I said, remember, when you go for describe, is you start with, as a first side, well, and the template. Use the template. So we will get like more basically about preparation and some details of, you got 1 to 2 minutes. Basically, 1 minute is more than enough for you folks. You don't have to worry about it. Just describe and just get it on with it and you will be fine. Now, in the describe, remember, in the art, you should go what work of art is when you first saw it, what you know about it, and explain why you like it. You should cover 4 things in case, in describe basically anything, even art or sport, possible. If the question becomes about art or sport, you should cover what, when, what, and why, okay? So basically we get covered the 4 things, what, when, and why, and is it? It's a question. Is it like your favorite? Is it worthful or not? Now this is the questions that you face in Temple 2. Now if we go for the book, again, the same template. What is about, what is sort of people would enjoy it, okay, and explain why you like it. Again, there is no when here because just a book is not like an art you saw it before. It's just a book. You will describe a book. So we have what and why. Just what and why. Anything with items is just what and why. Remember, anything with arts, sport, there is what, where, and why in your language. So remember the templates of the answer. In anything like sport or arts or creative idea, creative thoughts, you should go with what, where, and why, okay? While anything with item, anything, book, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, all this is what and why. You don't have to go with where because or when. You don't need to go with that. Okay? Now, if we go with communications. Now, communication is an entity. Okay? It's what we call it. Not an item, not a thing, not a descriptive thing like an art or sport. No. It's an entity. Communications. Now, here we will have when. Okay? And who, and what, and why. Remember, there is all the time who in the entity. Okay? All the time there is who in the entity. So, basically, I want you to write down the technique that we will describe or answer the question what we start, when this happened, we'll give you an advice, what the advice was, and explain how you felt. Or why you felt like happy. Okay? This is all under description of detail, which basically is topic 2. We are describing the details. Okay? So, until now, any more questions? Any questions about communications and book and art? Or everything clear? If everything clear, I'm going to go ahead. So, if it's yes, say yes. Okay, Melis, you are clear. I can understand that because you have the answer. I mean others. If everything clear, that's good. Okay, Naveen, thank you. Good. Okay, now we're going to go for the daily routine stuff. Now, daily routine stuff, it's routine. So, involve time, location, and you're alone in what? And again, why you like it. Basically, the whole cover of topic is why you like it. Well, that's why I say in the template, eventually, personally, like this. When you start thinking like, eventually, the last time when you close the speech, when you start, personally, eventually, it's a bit like you're asking why you like it, your opinion about it. But basically, when there is a daily routine, remember, you have to mention time in the routine. The time is one of the important essence in the daily routine description here. So I want you to take care of that. Now, exercise is a part of sport, remember. Exercise is a part of sport. And again, what, when, what, and how, or why. So the same thing, but remember, in exercise all the time we are using the voice to control your speed. So we get flat, high, flat, high, flat. So this gives you the confidence, like the examiner will look at you, oh dude, he got it good. So it means you're doing it good. So nothing to worry about. Okay? Now, we will go for family, and basically it's a direct question, but there are some traps in the question. Describe a member of your family will get on well with, like you're good at with them. Who is it and why? And why the person you like it, for example. Explain why you get it on so well, okay? It's usually happen. So basically, when things are in the family, I want you to use in task 2, in the second topic. Please write down this template. And I want to tell you, this template only for family. Only for family. Don't use it for something else. Write it down. If you are ready for writing down, tell me I'm ready. So write down ready, I will tell you the template. If you are ready. If you are ready, we're going to write it down. Okay. Thank you, Naveen. Thanks, everyone. Now, the template is like that. Write down this template. And remember, this template used only in the family subject, or friendship subject, or personal subject, or people that close to you. Okay? People that close to you. I mean, just like that. First, you start with, well, of course, and say your statement. Okay? So, start, well, of course, and say your statement. Okay? In the middle, you are using this bridge. Meanwhile, okay? I want you to use exactly the meanwhile, like there is some other events happen. You describe another situation. Is the odd situation, like you're good with your brother and not good with the other brother. So meanwhile, you put long story short, and one sentence, describe an odd situation. An odd situation with the person that you care or you love. Okay? So after that, when you use meanwhile, describe 3 sentences. Describe 3 sentences, I'm telling you. 3 sentences. Don't go more than 3. Okay? The odd thing is maximum 3 sentences. Don't go more than that. Okay? And afterwards, of course, the closing of speech used personally, okay? And eventually. Don't go beyond these 2 words. In personal. Okay? Don't use in my opinion or according to. Don't using that. Use basically either personally or eventually. One of them. Because it's personal stuff. And personal go for direct, touch with your feelings. So first we're going to start well, of course. Remember, you need to add something like assurance. Of course, yes. Of course, no. So, well, of course. And in the middle, don't use moreover, don't use it. Use meanwhile and add 3 sentences, an odd thing, an odd technique, an odd situation with your brother or your siblings or whatever. Okay? And after that, before the ending, which is this closing speech, you will go for personally and eventually. Okay? So this is the template. I want you to use it with family, friends, and loved ones. Basically because it's so personal, and you have to be more specific, but don't go deep, because examiners, they don't want to go deep. We just want to know your limitations. You're able to push your limits to see how you can answer. That's the whole thing. But basically your answer, when you say meanwhile and put the odds in the subject, you already covered the whole thing. So you're not worried about it. So, is the template ready? I mean, the template understandable? If you understand it, please say yes. If not, I will repeat again. If it's okay, so we will continue. If the template okay, say yes. Okay, so everyone now, write to me the template, how you understand it, the family template, how you will use it. Write it down in group chat. Write down what you use first, second, third, fourth. Okay, write down everything. Write down what you use first, second, fourth. Write down. Write down in group chat. I want to see that the word yes, if really you understand it, what you will use. So what we will use first? What is the first word we use? What is the first? Come on. What is the first word we use now in this template? Anyone will write to me in a group chat. What is the first word we use in this template? I want to double check everything that is okay, clear. The family template. What we gonna use the first word in answer? Okay, Naveen, answer correct. Now, what is in the middle? What is in the middle? Okay, wonderful. Now, what is in the middle? By the way, let me tell you something. Don't say like this. Well, of course. Make it like this with your voice. Well, of course. Make your emotion voice come over. Okay? So don't say, well, of course. No, this is like a dramatic answer, not good. You should say, well, of course, and you will continue. Make the voice is effective. As I said, flat high. Look here. Well, of course. Well, of course. Like that. Okay? Now, what is in the middle? What I put in the middle? What I should describe in the middle of my speech? What I should describe in the middle of my speech? Come on, give me an answer. What should I describe in the middle of my speech, folks? Ali, Muhammad, Naveen, anyone, come on. Middle part we can use bridge word like meanwhile, V, there is no meanwhile, or meanwhile. Okay, now Naveen, she said, other hand. No, I'm talking about family template only. Family template only. Don't use other hand. Just use meanwhile only. Use meanwhile only. If you want to get score 7.5 or 8, use meanwhile only in family template. In other templates, no problem. Other templates, no problem. But in the family template, no. In the family template, you need to use meanwhile because you're going to explain the ought. Okay? So there is, in the other hand, no, don't use that because this is, I'm asking about the family and personal template only. Okay? So here is, we just use meanwhile. Okay? Now, the last part of the template, what we're going to use, the last part of the family template, I repeat, in the family template, what are we going to use? What are we going to use in the family template? The last part, there are two words. Two words I need to use, specific words. What are the specific words we use in the template? What do you think, guys? Naveen, Ali, someone, come on. Give me an answer. I'll give you 1 minute more. Come on, give me an answer. What are the two words which we need to mention when we close the answer of family topic? That's possible, Naveen. That's possible. But we are not talking about events here, Naveen. We are not talking about events here. We're talking about connection. So that's why I say I wanted this template used for the family, for loved ones, friends, siblings, cousins, you know, husband, wife, something you connected to. Events, it's an event. It's not something that's personal, there is a connection to. No. You understand me? That's a difference. So this template only use, and I would say the last two words that we should use is personally and eventually. Okay? Only these two words we need to use in speaking with the family matter, because it's important for us to put a strong base for our argument and our answers. Okay? Remember this. Now, again, we will have gifts and hobbies. This is general questions, and about internet, which is also a general question, and the journey, which is general question, but we're using the general template. The template we said, well, moreover, in addition to, in other words, and after that we go personally, eventually, or in my opinion, whatever, you know. So you need to do the normal template with it. Okay, it's so easy, not hard. Now this is one of the subject for the topics we cover in number 2. Now the topic number 3, as we are dealing here, basically we're going to cover art. It's a basically discussion. As I said, it's connected to number 2. So the topic number 2 is connected to. Okay? So before we go for that one, I want you to go for the difference between each topic and how you get the score from 6 to 7. While you speak, you know your calculation basically. You know exactly what is your score, or you know, approximate score, maybe 6.57 in your way of speaking. Let's go for that one. Now, let me go back to that side first, because it's more easy for me to go to that side. Now, we're back again here to the subject, okay? And the important part is pronunciation. The pronunciation is the important part. Before we go to the third topic, here, Actually, we will do some, you need to check your pronunciation level, your accent level, your sound level. That's why I tell you, the first rule of speech. Remember, in IELTS, do flat, high, flat, high, flat. So you make the voice, there are stress sound. The stress sound all the time become a high voice. Like when you say, he entered the house. So all the time, the vowel sounds go with the high tone and go back to the flat. So for example, you say, well, when I left home and I was merging with the house. So the house, I identify, I make a stress sound. Okay? Now this is one of the rules. Now the second one, okay? Explain yourself, okay, with emotions. Now basically, I know you're not natives, and for you it's a bit difficult to pronounce some words. This happened. And you feel like hesitate, what are you going to say? What are you going to say, and what are you going to do to speak? For example, there is the word or the sound in your head, and it's happening all the time. The sound is your head, but you can't speak out the word. Like for example, when I say, for example, conscientious. Okay, when I say the word conscientious, yeah? Okay, the meaning of the word and the sound of the word in my head, but the mouth can't get it out. It's happened. So what happened here, you need to use a stress tone in the voice. To avoid this, conflict of the voice or the memory call or the voice cannot go out from you, you need to use the word, cut the vowel sound, okay, and get the word out. For example, if we say the word conscientious, yes? Well, conscientious is a bit like, for the non-natives, a bit, maybe it's hard to mention conscientious. But in the exam, you're alone with the examiner. It's like a judgment day. What are you going to do? Okay? Imagine yourself in front of Terminator. What are you going to do? You need to do something, and you need to get the job done. Now, in this case, you have to stress and cut the vowel sound. It gives you the same sound, the same sound. For example, when I say conscientious or conscious, okay? Now, conscious is conscious, but it's giving you a different meaning. Of course, when I say conscientious, it's a different word, different meaning. But conscious is my conscious or my conscientious. Now, conscientious is a bit complicated words, but conscious is a more easy. So what I done, I cut the stress, cut the vowel sound, and let the word go through. So it's the same thing, the same trick. I want to use it, okay? In case you're facing with a situation that you can speak, but basically I believe that you can. So to avoid the problem, which you get for number 6. But if we were going to go through that, I'm sure you will reach score 7. 6.57 is easy to get. If you know all the tips, all the tips and templates, everything, it will be easy for you. Okay? Does it sound clear? You understand me now? Naveen, everyone, Melis, everyone understand me here? If you understand me, say yes. Good. Now, let me teach you another trick for score 8. For score 8. Usually when you speak the word, okay, let's take an example. Helen Donut, you say what again, please? I will repeat it. What you say about what? Helen, could you explain I should say or explain what again, please? And I will be happy to support you. First trick. First trick in the template or first trick in the voice? You mean the word conscientious? If you know the word conscientious and conscious? Okay, it's when you're talking about conscientious. Okay, I will repeat again, and because of the time, I will make it long story short. If there is a difficult word to pronounce, like for example, conscientious, okay? And the word conscientious is already in your head, but you can't get it out. It's ready, not come out. You don't know how it works. So what do? In your mind, cut the vowel sound and stress the word. So conscientious become conscious. Well, of course, it's different meaning, but when you say it, it's going to say it related to that meaning. Very close to. The examiner will understand it, and you don't have to worry about it. Okay? It's simple. Cut the vowel sound and stress the word and get it out. It will be easy for you. Now, Helen, you understand me? Good. Now let's go for score 8 pronunciation. Now, if you notice, like I don't say internet. I don't say that at all. I say internet. Now, one of the things that we use it, like the different sound, different speech. For example, when you say, for example, interview, yes, in a classical English. But when you go more fluently in language, you will say interview. Interview. So what happened here? What we call it, we call it tango voice, tango sound. We cut the T and we put the words together. So internet, we remove the T, it's become inner net. So the word become internet or fast internet. You see how I pronounce it? Okay? For example, when I say interview, I remove the T and it's become inner view, like two words. Put it together, interview. So here what happened. For example, when you say the word international, here when you are more flexible, it's simple again. Remove the T, it's become international. Now, when you start speaking with such sound, what we call a tango sound, okay? This is in English literature, the sounds of act and movies, okay? Now, here you are in a fluent level of language. So they're different. For example, I'm an examiner, you say, okay, it's an international method to use worldwide, but it's different what I say. It's international method, worldwide. So basically, you go to fluent level. Fluent level. Now, this accent will help you to get 8 score. Basically, because it's appear you are already fluent with the language. Or maybe you've been in the States for a while or in Canada. And that's why they will give you the credit for that. Now, this is one of the tricks is for 8 score. Okay? Is it understandable? Easy? Is it easy? If it's easy, say yes. If it's hard, say no. Okay. Meles, let me explain it again. Write the word internet. Write it. Write it down. Now remove the T. Remove the T from the internet. What happened? Become inner. Like the word T removes, become inner. Yeah? So become internet. Internet. Put in one word, internet. You see how it's worked? Like that. Okay. Exactly, Niveen. Well, this is need to practice, basically, but I want you to use, like you can use internet is fine, but it's giving you more high score when you're using different accent, like fluent, like native accent. That's how it's worked, okay? Because easy to understand it throughout, accent has no effect on it. So basically the accent is most important part here, okay? I want you to play with it, play a role with it. Now let's go for vocab, okay? Now the vocab, we got, look, when you are under 6, it's when your vocab is not good. You don't got enough wallet of vocab. So you get like 5.55, it's when your vocab is like not good. But when you get 6 and 7 and 8, it's when you got like a wall, you know, a box of vocabs in your wallet. So it's fine. Basically, if you are using sufficient vocabs, okay, or discuss the topics, and by the way, if you want a good book about vocabs, write it down again, is 4,000 dash, you know, plus 9 vocab, IELTS vocabs. You will find this book is available on the internet, and you can just download it, and it gives you a lot of vocabs. Interesting. Maybe in our next lesson, I'm going to share it with you folks. I will give you like with the drive, you can download all the, you know, materials with IELTS vocabs and tricks. Yes, Naveen, we need to make more listenings, practice for it. Well, let's put it this way. You mean listening and listening sections or speaking listening? Which one you are talking about? Naveen? Which one are you talking? You make a listening section or listening for the, you know, speaking practice? Which one? If we're going to cover maybe in the next lesson, in the coming lessons of IELTS, I will help you folks also with the listening section. Yeah. In our next lesson, today was only beginning of a speaking actually session. That's why the main point here is the next lesson, I hope if there is a speaking subject, I'm going to involve some listening part in real interviews. What happened in the real halls. I want you to listen exactly what we ask and how the applicant answers. I'm going to share it with you guys. So I want you to practice and see the mistakes. I'm going to stop it and I tell you, look, this is wrong. This is the correct answer. And this is how it's worked. Okay? So now, Naveen will do that for next time for sure. And basically, we're going to, for listening subject, for sure, for maybe next week, we're going to cover the listening section. And you're going to listen a lot of techniques and tricks. I'm going to tell you, for example, the ear trick, when you can hear one and close one, and stuff which is make you easy to understand and comprehend the ideas of the listening section. Now, one of the important part here, we are using all the time paraphrase, okay? I want you to use all the time idioms. While you speak, okay, I want you to use idioms, but not much. Like, for example, while you do the speech, maybe 2 maximum, okay? Don't go so deep because it's not good. It's not going to help you out. Idioms show that you got a large vocab wallet with you and you get awareness of style and collection of the information. So here, don't use it too much because if here you are just copy it and you use it. No, not good. You're going to use maximum 2 idioms. Start in the middle and the last part of the topic. When you speak in the middle and the last part of the topic, you cover the idioms, okay? And there are some idioms you can use it so easy, but you can use it everywhere, okay? Excuse me. So, now we covered basically the template, the family template, the topic 2 template, and some topics about speaking session. Of course, the time is not enough for us, folks. If we go about speaking session, we need days. You know, we just make it long story short. But as much as possible, I brief all the speaking section like in almost 2 hours. And I hope I will see you again, maybe next week. I hope so. To explain more tactical and more strategy. There are more tips than you know. There are more discussion tips than you know. There are more details than you think. It's just simple thing. For example, the templates in a speaking session, it's more than 33 templates. 33 templates available in a speaking session. So imagine we took only 2 templates now. We took only 2. But I hope in the next coming lessons, I will share with you the rest of the templates. So my dear friends, if you have any questions right now, please ask me. We have got like 5 minutes left, or maybe 4 minutes left over. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer your question right now. So please, you can ask me any questions if you like. Time is open now for the questions. You're welcome, Naveen, anytime. So, no more questions? Any ideas? Come on, show me something. Any ideas? No questions? Everything okay? If everything okay, say yes. And that's it. If everything okay and everything you understand, say yes. Anytime, Melis, anytime. And I will help you in the next lessons also. Please, coming over again with the listening section, because trust me, I got some strange tips in my sleeve, and I'm going to share it with you. So, my dear friends, as I understand that everything is okay, and today's lesson was, I hope you understand it and enjoy the lesson of speaking tips and strategies for IELTS. Okay? I hope I will see you again next week. And stay safe, stay healthy, keep all healthcare procedures intact, and stay safe, and God bless you. See you next week.